again. I hope you're enjoying lunch or have enjoyed lunch, but we're going to have a little panel discussion up here. Again, I want to welcome everybody to North Olmsted Golf Club and The Turn. We get a lot of, I didn't know this was back here kind of a thing, and obviously there's a lot of great things going on back here. So I want to just officially welcome you. We've got a great day for you, some great discussion here to help you learn a little bit more of what the Turn's doing presently and what the future looks like for us. It looks a lot like today, very, very bright. So with that, I want to introduce our MC for this panel discussion, who is a name that you may know as Bill Wills. For over 20 years, Bill Wills has been the morning voice on WTAM 1100. He talks daily to reporters and newsmakers of the day, along with celebrities and sports stars and CEOs of the Turn. Bill's passion for the community has been recognized by the Salvation Army with their William Booth Award and by Our Lady of the Wayside as their past Humanitarian of the Year award winner. Bill and his wife Mindy moved to Cleveland from Cincinnati and currently reside in Medina with their dog Layla. Their son Nate and daughter-in-law Sydney live outside Raleigh, North Carolina, and their daughter Serena lives in Lynchburg, Virginia. You get to travel a little bit south. All right. So with that, handing it off to Bill.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There were two quick edits. He obviously made one himself. The other would be the word precious goes in front of Layla. My wife always, if you have a dog, you know what I mean. You're nothing but unconditional love. I thank you for the invite and for being here. Rob was also the head of the weather committee. He did a fabulous job, as he does in all his responsibilities. Real quick, I was thinking about this coming out. I get a chance to meet a lot of people and MC things and do lunches and all. And it's really a fun part of the job. I get up at 2:30 in the morning. That's where the bags come from under the eyes. People ask me sometimes. Some of you guys I know get up at 2:30. You go back to bed though. I have to get up at 2:30 and go on out and go to work. But I was thinking about this today. Winston Churchill was credited with so many great quotes, and one was, there's three things in life hard for a man to do. One is to kiss a girl leaning away from him. I got a joke. I got a laugh over here. She's leaned away many times. Two is to climb a wall that leans towards you. Some of you men, ladies in the military maybe have done that a time or two. I think many who are involved in the Turn are climbing walls sometimes that maybe lean towards them, but boy, they are climbing. And third is to speak before a group of people about a topic that they know more about than you do. And that's where I find myself today. Because all of you here have something to do with what is going on here. And the incredible story that the Turn is. And this business with you that share the story. Anytime you can bring somebody out on a tour, and maybe this is your first opportunity to be on this property. Thank you for coming and for spending some time. For many of you who have been involved in this effort over the years, maybe there's questions you have, thoughts, wondering about what's going to happen. Well, that's really a part of why we're here today. And hopefully this little discussion will answer a few questions. If maybe after we're done in a few minutes you've got some questions, track down one of these guys. Give them your comment, your idea, your thought, maybe about how you can help and improve and continue with the great message that the Turn is. Keith Cardwell is here. He's a member of the Turn. I am told all I have to do is say O-H-I-O, and it comes out without a problem. We have Robb Schulze, of course, as you know, head of NOGA. He also, in that outfit, does many rules judgment calls in the golf course. And it's always good to see Robb. Dale Solloway is here. I asked about what Dale does, and they told me he's the whatever guy. Pretty much whatever is needed. Dale is kind enough to just do it. And we need those types of volunteers. And our president and board chair, senior vice president out of Merrill Lynch, in his spare time, Mark Telerico is here by my side. Mark, let me start with you. Tell me a little bit about why you got involved in the Turn.
Thanks, Bill. So my original involvement here was as a golfer, and I think that 10 years ago when I joined the board of NOGA, like a lot of people that are first introduced to what's happening at the Turn, I came in from the golf side as a player and learned about the Turn, what was going on, and I got to see this facility, and I was like, wait a second. The same reaction so many people that I bring out here now I had the first time. I came out, I thought I was going to be involved, my background's golf, and I come out here and I see golf in a very different light and what's happening with the turn. So it was eye-opening to me, and again, some people are being introduced to golf through the turn for the first time. For me, I'm learning about golf and how it's affecting people in a different way for me.
And humble with golf, he played professional for many, many years, but got his amateur status back. So don't worry, okay? We see him out at the no-go events. Keith, tell me about your story as far as the turn.
My journey to the turn started about 6-7 years ago. I started to have issues with my right arm. I lost a lot of use and function of it. Went through a lot of testing and therapy, and it was determined I had a lot of nerve damage, and I ended up having spine surgery. And I was in a rehab hospital for over a month. And there was a kind of annoying rec therapist there that came around bugging you to try to do things, crafts and puzzles and things that I wasn't particularly interested in, and I was not in the best moods anyways. But finally she said, well, what are you interested in? And I said, well, I always played a lot of golf. I enjoy that, figuring she would immediately leave. And turned out she had like a golf mat that you could, and a putter, and you could practice putting. And she had some wiffle golf balls you could bang around the rec room in the hospital. And when I was there, she says, once you leave, you might check out this program on North Olmsted, The Turn, and see what that's all about. And when I got out, I showed up, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since. So that's pretty much my story, I guess.
I love it. Dale, how about your involvement in the turn? When did you first come by this place? When you left Heinen's one day after cutting meat, or what?
Yeah, actually, it was right before I left Heinen's. It was 2012 on a cold November day, and the other volunteer, Wally McGlumpy, Wally and I worked together almost 40 years for Heinen's Supermarket. We came out here one day and we're pulling in to play golf, and he said, oh, there's Mr. Twister, and that's Jerry Clapp, who we lost this past winter, was one of our participants. And I said, I know him, and I had no knowledge of the program whatsoever. And Wally had started helping Trevor, I believe, several years before I did. I think there was 12 participants maybe. When I started in 2012, we had around 40. And 2012? Oh, okay, 110. And so I asked him about the program, and I talked to Trevor, and I've known Trevor from playing out here a little bit. So I decided to give it a try. So I'm standing out here that cold November day, and I'm thinking, some of these people with disabilities probably beat the pants off me. What am I going to show them? How am I going to help them? So I stuck with it, and I tell this a lot. It was like the second time I was out here, and I was looking for something to do outside of retail when I retired. And I was standing there, like I said, and just something came over me from above and said, this is what you're supposed to do. And from then on, I jumped in, and had some good teachers in Trevor, and a lot of good staff people and volunteers, and decided to join the program. I've been here going on 7 years.
Fantastic. Thanks for all you do. Rob, you've had a great career and have a great career going when it comes to the golf industry in the pro shop and being a pro, and you work with Noga and the Turn. Give me a few thoughts and comments as you think about the last few years with your involvement.
Well, when I first started here, it was I kind of had the same reaction a lot of people have that come out here. It's, wow, I didn't know this was going on here. And even going before that, I was at Sandridge at a golf event, professional golf event, and the Star Stripe and Links was going on, and this is 5 years ago. And I saw what was going on, and I saw Frank there, and he had come up to me on the golf course at one point, and I saw what was going on in the driving range and everything, and I remember driving out and looking over and seeing all these guys, all these veterans on the driving range, and thinking to myself, man, people got to know more about this. And ironically, I ended up getting an interview for this position shortly after that, and was asked in the interview, you know, what's the one thing that could really make a difference with the tournament? And I said, more people got to know about it. And I said, you know, you had this event out at Sandridge. How do we get the TV stations out there? How do we get this more people to know what's going on? Because it's great what you're doing. And I got the job. So evidently that was a good question and a strategy going forward. And as we've been going through here the last couple of years, it's really been an awareness campaign of what's going on back here. You know, we're off of Butternut Bridge Road. It's you don't see it. It's not real visible, but when we get people back in here and they can actually see what's going on and they can touch the program and they can see, you know, the volunteers, the participants, you know, the family members who are bringing, you know, participants here to spend the day with us. That's really where more and more people got to know what's going on.
And while you've got the mic and this hands-on you've had the last few years, as you took me around on a tour a couple of years ago, for somebody that's new here today, talk to me about this place, who you help, how you help, and why you help.
Yeah, well, you know, it's easy to say now with the new name change, or the name change being a little bit more than a year old. It's for people who have taken a turn in their life, and we try to take that turn and make a positive turn in their life and bring them back around again. So stroke survivors, people that have had something that obviously has negatively impacted their life, traumatic brain injuries. The one gentleman who came home and decided to clean out his gutters one day when he saw they were full and fell off a ladder and changed his life and you know, has been with us since he was you know, released out of physical therapy and has been part of the program. You know, the Wounded Warriors and the VA have been here, and it's been a tremendous opportunity with them and helping those people too. But spinal injuries, you know, it's just great to see what we can do for people that have had something, have had a turn in their life, how we can turn that back and how we can give them a purpose to come out and get out of the house every day and come on over and see us.
I mentioned to you yesterday on a phone call, US Open, of course, this week at Pebble, and Dennis Walters is going into the Golf Hall of Fame. You don't know his story. He, correct me if I'm wrong, was injured in a golf cart accident, and now travels the country as a trick shot artist, if you will, and has done so much for the game of golf, and enters the World Golf Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and you know, and piggybacking on that, the USGA is really making a big push right now with golfers with disabilities, and I attended the annual meeting down in San Antonio in February, and we had them on site in October of 2018. The USGA was here and looking at our facilities and how the golf course is adaptable. And sitting in the town hall meeting was the young lady moderating it, like Bill is here, who was actually on site here. And the turn got mentioned. And boy, you know, I sit up in my chair and it's a terrific thing. And then the turn got mentioned again. And I'm thinking to myself, who's all listening to this right now? Because this is terrific. And then it got mentioned a third time, and it's just wonderful to see how it's starting to resonate and getting it into a national setting and finding out afterwards that there were 60,000 people viewing that on Facebook Live. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and I think other golf organizations, the majors like the USGA and now with PGA Hope, they're recognizing that this is a group of people that really needs to be paid attention to.
Let's stay on this theme of the change of the name, if you will, to the turn. And Mark, if you will, from your perspective on the board and talking to people about coming out and marketing and spreading the word, what has the name change meant for you and what you do with your involvement?
Well, I think that the name change, I mean, there's a few different reasons for the name change, but I think at the core, that when you talk about this with the word golf in it and what happens here, yes, golf is involved, but this is really, it's using the game of golf, but it's far from what I would call an athletic organization. And I think that from awareness for corporations, I mean, we've run into it where corporate gift matching or looking for donors, when you have the name golf in this, there's immediately just a feeling that this is maybe a sports organization. And so But after people dive deeper into what happens here, they visit the website, they come out and see the facility, then they understand. So it kind of it separated it. It made the conversation easier because this is really not so much about golf. It's about kind of life, and making your life better. And golf is just the means of doing it.
Good lead in. Hand that mic to Keith. Keith, you're who we keep talking about, so let's let you talk for a little bit about the experience out here. Maybe the golf club was the first thing you touched, but there's so many other ways around here to help change someone's life.
That's really true. I was recently online and I saw this article, a news site, and the article was titled "The Best Exercise Program," and it was hard not to open that up and see what the heck that was going to be. And the gist of the article was the best activities are the ones you enjoy doing. And I really started to think about how that related to the turn in many ways, and that most people fail in exercise and improving their health because they choose to do things that they don't particularly like to do. And this program, it really starts with you trying to.
You're blessed almost as much as the people you're helping at times, I think, out here, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I told Karen Tigan in an interview, I said, a lot of days you see people come out here, they love to be out here. Maybe they don't necessarily feel like hitting a lot of golf balls, maybe they don't feel like working too hard in fitness, but there's a big social aspect to this also. And, a lot of our volunteers are very good at kind of pick out the people that they want to be here. They don't feel up to par maybe that day, but just to sit and talk with them makes a big difference. And these people leave every week and they thank us for helping them. And I told Karen, I said, you know what? These people don't realize how much they help us. To see them fight through all their problems and keep working hard at it every day, I said that inspires us. And we're not only here to help the participants, but they do a great deal to help us. And every day I leave, I say, this is the best job I ever had. And we all seem to enjoy it. We're like one big happy golf family.
Well said. Well said. Robb and Mark, I'm going to I give Mark the mic, and Robb, you can start. As you guys look at the current situation and looking ahead from your role on the board and as far as the operation goes, talk to me about challenges, futures, obstacles. What's on your to-do list right now? Robb, you start, and we'll let the rest chime in.
We have that much time?
Well, I promised Billy here he'd be out of here by 1:15, but go ahead.
Well, there's a lot going on. There's, there hasn't been a lack of a lot going on since I got here. It's obviously we've got a terrific volunteer base and everybody that's helping us there, and honestly is the backbone of what we're doing. But the staff here is fantastic as well. As we grow, we're filling this place up, and we're filling it up fast. So we're down to a strategic plan now that we're working with the board of directors, and Howard Essner has been instrumental in that, our vice president. But when I walked in the door here, Paul Schlatter and Rick Cohn, the two presidents that were before Mark, really started to lay the groundwork, and Paul really jumped it off and got it going, and now we're at a point now where we're literally busting at the seams, and we're looking at expanding and blowing walls out, and we're hoping to get to that point here very shortly. But we are full. We're looking at some other things that we're going to be doing in terms of increasing the programming and opening things up, because we've got more people to serve. So again, as I came in, we were really talking about the awareness and making people more aware of what we're doing here. And it's working. We've got a long way to go, but it's working, and the numbers are starting to prove that out.
I think, I echo everything that Robb says. This program has grown so much in the last 10 years that I've been involved with the organization. And there's so much momentum that we have to balance, the growth. We have to be responsible, and I think the planning and the thought going into it from the board level with everybody trying to, working with the staff, working with the volunteers, working with the participants, saying, what do we need to take on, to get to the next level? And what are, and what do you realistically think we can do? I mean, you have to be responsible in these plans that we're, we need to expand, but we also need staffing, and then we need to provide great programming too. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we've got a fantastic board, and Bill Fry's done some fantastic planning work with Howard on the committee to really lay the groundwork for, telling the story, and people want to know, if we're going to contribute to this organization, what do you need from us? We need to be able to answer that question. So we're building that plan.
Well said, Keith, and Dale, if you would, and Dale, let me start with you. You're out here. You always need more volunteers, but I mean, you're on the front lines. What do you think's needed here as the turn continues to grow? Give me some thoughts.
You see organizations every day that try to grow without strategic plan, and they falter. And I think we have what we need to grow in the staff, the volunteers, and everybody that's involved. And I feel pretty confident in their ability, and because they're not just expanding. I understand that we also have a waiting list for people to get in the program, which is great. And they're not just taking on more than they can handle. They're looking at this, long range and determining all the angles where we can help these people and do a good job at it, and not let the program, become just falter.
I think when you come out here is what's needed or direction. How you feel?
Nice, easy question, thanks.
Oh wait,
I
Ohio State.
There's another one out there. There's a lot of them. One of the kind of the interesting thing is the biggest problem we have is success, and I guess the good thing is that it's nice to be successful, and it's nice to have the leadership of all the people, as far as the board and the volunteers and the staff that have made it successful. And I think they have a good sense and ability to deal with the problems as we go forward. But I mean, it is a deal that, when you're, I guess it's a good thing to be burdened by success.
it's a good problem to have many times.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Let me finish, as we begin to start to finish, talk about the future, but maybe what's being talked about, and see if we can get inside the boardroom just a bit. Mark, let me start with you, and then Rob, you can chime in. In hearing about challenges or where we're at, take us inside about some ongoing discussions. What's something new, or can you share something new that people here today can learn about when it comes to the turn and what you're debating right now?
Well, inside the boardroom, it's a dedicated group of people. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. The board, as the organization gets momentum, and then people come out and visit and see or experience what's going on, then you attract board members that really want to get engaged. And that's what has been happening over the years. And we've got a boardroom that is talented in a variety of different backgrounds, whether it's planning, whether it's fundraising, whether it's, running a company. But it's a working board. And I think that's the thing that makes my job, very easy, is I am helping manage the process. I've got lots of talented people in that boardroom that work together. I mean, outside of those board meetings, this isn't a show up quarterly for a board meeting. This is, what are we going to do in between the next board meeting? Let's get back together. They're very engaged. They're spreading the message. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it.
Rob, you've talked about moving walls and blowing walls out. Next 6 months or so, anything else you want to lead us into is what's being planned or thought about?
Well, we're talking with the staff now, and then starting to talk about how we're going to, or what the program's going to look like here come the fall. Again, with Bill Fry's help and the strategic planning, we're looking at, all the programming right now is kind of the beginning of the day up until noon, and we're starting to investigate afternoon and evening programming, feeling like we have a demographic of people out there in the public that we can serve that can't get here in the morning. Even people that are working can eventually get here and do something with us in the evening. So we're looking at that, and obviously as that happens, facilities need to maybe be broadened, but also staffing needs to change too, because as good a job as Trevor and Shelley and Gina do with everything on a day-to-day basis, I don't know if they want to be here 14 hours a day, but we'd love to have you guys. If you want to, let me know. Anyhow, so yeah, we also got to look to the future as, who we're going to have in here and going to start kind of taking over and expanding things.
On that note, then, while you got the mic, the cost modification as you grow this thing, correct me if I'm wrong, you haven't sent a check back for anybody that wants to donate when it comes to the turn, but you need more help down the road, I'm guessing, right?
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we are, we are privately funded. We do what we can, and again, the reason you're here today, Karen Ty, who's donor relations and opened some doors for us in terms of some grant funding opportunities. Frank Ritar, who has been doing that since Bob Wharton left, has been doing a great job on the development side and bringing things in. But yeah, we need people, we need staffing. The facilities, we are truly blessed. I will say that with the facilities that we have, to have somebody give this to us at one point, the golf course and the ability to build a building is a wonderful thing. But at the end of the day, the building costs money, the golf course costs money, and again, privately funded. We're always looking for that person that can come in and help us out. So yeah, everything and everything is welcome.
I agree, Rob. I mean, it's there's everything that we do here, and I think you summed it up great about the success. This is more success you have, we're going to have to continue to expand, and the thing is, we're going to have to reach out. We're reaching out to donors. Everybody knows somebody. They either personally this has a place in their heart that this means something to them, or they know somebody, or they know an organization that we can help. And of course, first and foremost, we need funding. So we're always out there looking for donors. And yes, I mean, the part of the strategic plan is we want to make sure that when we run into a donor who says, we want to give you $1 million. What are you going to do with that? We have to have that answer, and this board, I know where that is going because we have the plans in motion. But we have to do that responsibly. So we're constantly looking forward and asking questions. What can we do better?
I'd be happy to take that call.
We do a direct deposit. As we start to wrap up, if I could, Dale, back to you on any final thoughts as you hear about hopefully good positive spin and news for the future when it comes to expansion, and as you kind of sit here representing a lot of volunteers that really enjoy being at it.
I'm going to put all that in the hands of the people that know money, have much more knowledge of that. But one thing that happened just yesterday that I think can sum up what this program's all about. Herb Warner came down. We were downstairs. We were saving the putting green and everything for our junior clinic in the afternoon. His daughter and family came from Minnesota, and this was the first time they came, I believe, and saw Herb in the program. Not sure about that, but I think so. So we're setting Herb up, and Anthony Netto, that introduced the Paramobile several years ago, made a big difference, I know, for Herb and in his life and his enjoyment with the program. And as we were getting ready to hit some chip shots, Herb stood himself up in the Paramobile. He looks over, and his daughter's she lost it. She's just crying, and she couldn't hold back. The rest of us, the tears are falling, And Herb goes, "What's the matter?" He says, "I never saw you stand up before." And that's it.
Well said. The Parallel solo rider, absolutely outstanding. Keith, final thoughts from you about this experience out here?
Well, speaking for myself, and I think for all the members, the only thing I would like to say is that there are a lot of people, obviously, that we spoke about, from the board and the staff, the volunteers, and the donors, and all the members and all the participants. I think I would like to say a big thank you to all of you, because if it wasn't for all you people, there wouldn't be a program, and you do so much for us. So thank you very much.
Mark, closing thoughts from you, friend?
Bill, thank you for continued your support and putting your name behind this organization. I mean, whether it's a Twitter post or a selfie during a panel up here, I think that it's things like that people in your position, it goes a long way, and I can't thank you enough for this.
Too kind. I'm just here like everybody else. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. Rob, before I throw it to you to close us out, hopefully the last few minutes you've learned something new. Maybe a question was answered, or it sparked a question, or you thought about a way you could help, or you came out wondering what this was all about. Hopefully we answered some of that. This is a beautiful place with golf, and I've told this to people over the years. I'm blessed to be able to, as many of you have teed it up at some nice courses, and you come back from the experience and you think about two things normally. And Billy and I were talking about this a while ago on a golf trip he took. You normally mention the greens. Oh, the greens rolled great. I mean, these greens here are fabulous. You talk about green. Every course has fairways. But you always talk about the green. Oh, I couldn't believe those greens, how fast they were. And you know what else? People. When you talk about golf, you talk about this game, people come. Somebody you met. Everybody that's up here, I've met through this game. All of you today, I had a chance to meet because of golf. There's so many things that the term does, don't get me wrong. But because of this sport and the passion we have, so much of this has become possible. And truly, changing course and improving life is what the turn is all about. But now touching and doing it in so many ways besides a 5-iron. And helping everyone who comes out here and spends some time to know that their next turn, whatever their next place in life is, that there's just going to be more enjoyment, maybe at a different level, but more enjoyment for them as they continue. It's a wonderful program, but again, as Winston Churchill said, I'm speaking to the choir. So thank you all for coming. Rob, you want to close us out, friend?
I've mentioned it a couple of times. I would say awareness. Take what you've learned here today, take what you've seen here today, and take it outside of the property. We've always kind of said we need to get outside of these four walls and let people know more about what we're doing. I'm asking you to take that on and hopefully help us with that today. So awareness. I've mentioned it a couple of times. More people that know, the more people we can help. And obviously we're growing to that point responsibly. But at one point I shudder to think, looking back on how many lives we're going to help. And it makes me proud, and it makes me proud of everybody involved with the organization, volunteers, donors, board members, and staff. So we're all pulling in the same direction, and it's a great thing. And because of that, that's why we are having the success we're having. So tell people about the term.
Well said. Karen, thank you. Where's she at? Thank you so much. I told her earlier, sometimes I walk in, to MC something, they hand me a napkin. And she was so kind with all the information, so thank you so much. And Keith and Rob and Dale and Mark, thank you guys for being up here today. Thank all of you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon here at the Turn. Thank you.